y'all, Dixie here. I'm coming to you from the gear closet again because we've got some nasty weather here in Alabama. Today I want to tell y'all why backpackers are my favorite people. I have spent a lot of time walking and talking and camping with folks, fellow backpackers and thru hikers out on the trail in the last like 9 years. And before I started backpacking, and really ever since, I've not connected with folks like I have the people that I've met on trail. And since I've done thru hikes and started backpacking, I've actually found it more difficult to connect with people in normal life. I used to be this social butterfly, and now small talk with random folks in normal life is just strange sometimes. So what is it about backpackers that makes them so unique or so special? Well, here's what I think. First, they are young at heart. It doesn't matter how old somebody is that I have met out on trail. Everybody out there in nature just seems to be younger. I don't know, they've got this younger aura about them. And I've always compared trail life and being out in the woods to like a playground. It's like an adult playground basically. And you get out there and you can explore it and find cool things like bugs and rocks and flowers. And sometimes you literally have like a jungle gym obstacle course type thing with blowdowns or big boulders that you have to go over. So you kind of can't help but be young at heart and just kind of make light of things out there. Next, backpackers are not zombies. I noticed when I first graduated college and started working my big girl jobs that most of the people I was around felt very much in a zombie-like state. They would wake up, go to work, go back home, and just kind of didn't have any real hobbies or serious interests, and it seemed like they basically just lived for the weekend where they could sit in their pajamas and eat chips and watch TV, which I get is nice sometimes. But when I quit my job in 2014 and then started my thru hike in 2015, it was so refreshing to come across people who seemed to have a light in their eyes and an appreciation and a zest for life. They just seemed so alive, and they had this passion about thru hiking the AT. And so anyway, it was quite a stark difference. And ever since then, I've just realized that most of the folks you come across on trail differ greatly from the folks in your day-to-day life because they just do seem so alive. Another quality I have grown to love about backpackers is they appreciate the simple things in life, like sunrises, sunsets, the stars, perfect weather days, and fires, which is what we call hiker TV. And also in that appreciating simple things, we don't take for granted things like a flushing toilet, water that you don't have to treat yourself, a roof over your head, even sometimes a floor to sleep on, and then also a soft bed when you get the opportunity for that. I think so many people that have nice beds go to bed at night and lay down and they don't truly appreciate it because they don't know what it feels like to sleep on the hard ground because your sleeping pad has popped. So we just learn to appreciate some of the smallest things in life instead of dwelling on what we feel like we don't have. We recognize all of the things that we really do have and are grateful for them. Next, backpackers are typically more creative, inventive, thrifty. They do well with figuring things out on the fly. And this oftentimes is learned the hard way. Like, you might not know you have this in you until you are in a particular predicament on trail and you've got to figure out how to fix your pack strap because you've still got 50 miles to town. And I have seen some hikers fix things with duct tape and floss and a needle, or even less than that, but they come up with a way to solve problems. And you just figure out how to make things work in a pinch because you don't have any other choice. And I just feel like that is a great tool set to have for regular life too. Because when you've done without so much, then you have the luxury of just being able to go to the store to fix something, well, wow, with the things that you could get at the store, you could really come up with a solution. Something else I love about backpackers is they're not afraid to be themselves. There's just something about the trail that will beat the energy out of you to carry on some facade. Like what you see with people out there is pretty much what you get, because when you're exerting that much energy, like you don't have the time or energy to be fake. Well, except for the one guy who was evading the FBI for several years. He did a pretty good job. But aside from that, people really are just their true selves and generally are accepting of that trait in others. Backpackers are also so giving without condition. I never was in a situation where I needed something or saw somebody else need something and the person giving it said, "Oh, I don't know. Who did you vote for in the last election?" It's just not like that. If somebody out on the trail needs something, you give it to them if you can spare it. And I've seen many instances of this on trail, and what's so incredible about it is that typically you just don't have a whole lot out there. You kind of carry exactly what you need, but like hikers find a way to make it happen, and we take care of one another. Also, something I really appreciate about backpackers is there is no one stereotypical type hiker. I have seen all sorts of shapes, sizes, colors, religions, ages, etc. I have literally sat around a fire with a 70-plus-year-old woman and man and a 10-year-old little girl. And what I love so much about the trail is it unites all of these people who probably would not have sat down and been friends otherwise. And I've even seen this on trips like the Camino. So many different people from different countries sitting there talking about things face to face, not like fighting about it on Facebook. And it's just wonderful. Next, most backpackers are pretty humble because being on the trail, especially if you're a thru hiker, puts you in predicaments where you're grateful for floor space to sleep on, a truck bed to ride to town in, or that person who finally picks you up while you're hitchhiking because you need medical attention. Being in those situations, especially, like I said, thru hiking, where you're in town and some people might not know what's going on. Like when I was thru hiking the Continental Divide Trail, the trail was so far from town stops that a lot of times people had no clue what this hobo looking person was doing in the McDonald's getting some food, you know, so you're judged and you learn how it feels to be looked down upon. So in turn, I think that opens your mind to a different perspective and makes you much more humble than you were before. So backpackers are typically not haughty, thinking they're better than others, because they know they're not. Backpackers are also some of the toughest and most resilient people I know. And again, this is one of those things that the trail just whips into you because you don't have a choice. And the trail can beat you and bruise you, and I have seen folks walk to town with some of the hugest, most infected blisters, like taking up the whole bottom of their foot almost. It's like the Energizer Bunny, but I think, again, it's a mindset shift because when you're out on trail and you don't have a choice but to keep trudging through it, you just learn how to toughen up and do it. And I think that a lot of folks could use that. Finally, my favorite thing about backpackers is that generally they value experiences over things, because otherwise you'd be at home comfortable enjoying all of your things instead of saving up your money and spending it on trips to go stink and suffer in the woods. They would rather see the world at 2 miles per hour in places that you can't get by vehicle than to buy a brand new car. Life is short, and the happiness brought to us by material possessions fades very quickly. You get something and it's new and shiny and it wears out pretty fast. But those memories that you make with experiences will just like burn in your mind forever. And someday, if I'm not able to get out anymore, I hope that doesn't happen, but I would much rather sit in a rocking chair on my front porch and relive all of my memories and experiences in my mind rather than to be surrounded by decades of a bunch of junk. All right, y'all, well, that is all I have for you today. If you agree with me and you think backpackers are pretty awesome, but you've got some different reasons, I would love to hear those in the comments below. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week and that you have an even better weekend, and we will see y'all next time.